Use this fine paper to put the final directional marks on it. I'm backing up the scale so I don't get a breakout on the other side. Look at that red sawdust. It's a cool wood. Okay, no point in going past when the yellow dust comes up. The tiny little bit of a cut right here gives it a slight lead in, makes it easier to put together. Okay, I was going to drill the second scale. After I glued it together, but then I realized if I go ahead and drill it now, I can use the pins as part of my jigging to hold it all together correctly, so that my scales end up at the same point on the knife blade. Trying to find a position where I can line it up and hold it square. Not there. There we go. Okay, those will fit. That'll fit. That'll fit. That'll fit. I don't have anything to jig the separator in the middle. I'll drop that in nice. And let's see. I'd like to have a lanyard hole. Now I'm holding the center plate in position. And let me figure out what I'm going to use for a center pin. One way or another, I'm going to use the tube for this 38 special brass for the lanyard hole. This thing's about 377, so I'm going to take a 3/8 drill bit, which will be 375. and that should get me there. Now you'll notice that this hole is going to be off-center. I'm lining it up with the other two brass pins, and when I grind the handle to shape, it will be in the center. And I got to do this hole carefully so that I don't split my scales. In fact, I think I'm going to come in and just use that as a center line. Come into about right here. And touch off and see if I'm lined up. I hope it looks good where it is because I'm committed now. Now I'm going to, I'm a couple thousandths too small with this, so I'm just going to, in a circular way, load the drill bit, let it pull a few more shavings out of there. And our round should fit in there now. Here's our trial fit. Oh yeah, it goes right in there. Alright, now I want to flare this hole just a little bit on both sides. Now I've got to cut this round off, this brass off, and you can see it's not going to require very much flaring. And this will also be glued into the scales, so it'll I'll be able to flare this without moving it, I hope. I've had a little difficulty trying to make an eyelet out of these, out of brass for a leather sheath that I'm working on. But I can't glue it into the sheath like that, so here I've got a little bit of an advantage. So I'm going to mark where I want to cut this off. And we'll go over to the drill press and I'll cut it off. A file has been working the best for this procedure. Essentially I'm going to be freehanding this with a file using the corner of a flat round. And I'm going to leave it just a shade long. It's not hard for me to shorten this once I get the primer end cut off. And these want to walk out of the chuck. The problem is it's pretty thin brass, so if I squeeze up on it too tight, it'll deform it, and I don't want to deform it. I'll just patiently use the corner of this file to file through it. There it goes. Almost threw the file out of my hands. So check it out. Okay. Now there's a burr rolled up on the inside of the tube. Let me get this table out of the way. I'm going to use the sharp edge of the handle here to trim that out. The material's moving this way around the file. Flatten the bottom of it, and I'll go try it in the scales. So here we are for trial fit. It's hanging out just a little bit on each side. Well, I guess I'm hanging out about a 1/16 too long. I need to go ahead and trim that off. Same way you saw me cleaning up the end of it. Alright, we have a nice fit now. Maybe just a hair above the surface on either side. We've got all 3 of our pins in, everything's drilled. It's time to glue it up. Okay, before I glue these metal parts in, I'm going to mark them up on the outside with a file. Basically just putting some scratches in them. Give the glue something to bite into. Kind of moving the file in all directions. As I rotate the part. I'm using the corner of a file that's only ground on 2 sides. Here, it just happened to be sitting on my work surface here. You can see nothing that I've done here has been very complicated. You can do it too. The hardest thing for most people is getting started. It's easier to watch videos and experience all this stuff vicariously than it is to get your fingers dirty. Hopefully you'll decide to try a project like this. Okay, I have all my parts here, and now I'm going to mix epoxy. Now this is a 6-minute epoxy that I'm going to be using, and I'll have about 2 minutes to mix it and use it when it's in its best possible condition.